Destiny is truly in love with effort. My dear Mehmet, always remember that. Sometimes he tells a story, for example. He says, a wandering fox is better than a lion lying down. Now, since it's wandering around, it always has a chance to find some bread. Right, Mr. Sami? But if the lion is just lying there, is a gazelle going to come up and say, come on, catch me? Is that likely? So, in that sense, effort is very important. In every matter, destiny is already the will of our Lord. But look, now I'm going to say something else. How interesting! Because He knows your future with His eternal knowledge. He looks at your effort there. Look, for example, they say to Hazrat Omar was one of the Ashara Mubashara, the 10 companions who were given the glad tidings of paradise while still alive. Hazrat Omar was one of them. Imagine at the age of 63, he would carry a sack of flour on his back to deliver it to a needy poor person. He would patrol the city until morning. He would lean against the walls and listen inside. Is there a child crying? Is there anyone in distress? He was someone like this, just like you. They asked, O Omar, you have already been given the glad tidings of paradise. So why do you still strive and put in so much effort? He said, if I were not to strive like this, would Allah have given me the glad tidings of paradise? Look at what he says. You can't just lie back and do nothing. Because Allah knows it from eternity with His eternal knowledge. When it is said that He determines your fate from the beginning, if you pay attention to the verses in the Quran, Allah the Almighty always presents it as if it has already happened, according to your own efforts. Look, what does our Prophet say as well? He says, destiny has been written, the ink has dried. When he says there's nothing more to be done from this point on, it means Allah has written it with His eternal knowledge. So, just lying around and saying, whatever Allah wills, that will happen, doesn't work. Allah's will also depends on your own effort. It is said that such lack of effort offends Allah's will. It offends Allah's will and becomes dangerous for you. So, what should we do? When we talk about destiny, it's like a student who must fulfill their responsibilities and study for their lessons. There's an exam tomorrow. After that point, it's out of their hands. They should entrust it to their Lord. Oh Lord, I hope the questions are from the topics I know, or that they are easy. You go to bed at 7 in the evening like a chicken. Then in the morning you say, Allah is generous. Allah is generous. But He is generous to those who strive. We as disciples have experienced this too. So have our brothers and sisters studying at university. For example, someone in Erzurum was doing the same thing. I heard it on the radio. Related to the previous question and incident with Muhammad Effendi Hazratleri. Don't remind me now, I might forget. He says, tomorrow there's a written exam. He says, I had just picked up my book. He says, I heard an announcement. They said, urgently seeking blood of this group. They said, a sister who just gave birth is in danger. He says, I put the book down and immediately rushed to the hospital. He says, I donated blood, and by the time I was done going back and forth, it was 1 o'clock. He says, right after 1 o'clock, what good would it do to study now? He says, I just skimmed about 10 pages. Look now, as Allah the Most High says in His glorious book, can a person truly prefer his beloved brother over himself, even in difficult times? That's what Sufism is about, right there. In other words, it says, not me, but you. The moment we say that, we've grasped the essence. Otherwise, if you always say, all for me, it means we haven't understood. He says, the next day, I took a written exam. All the questions were from those 10 pages I skimmed well. Not 10 consecutive pages though. He says, I just flipped through the book at random. He says, I glanced over it a bit. He says, all the questions came from there. Well, there you have it.